But first of all, I just want to share something with you. This is something that's called an ice cream fruit, and I've had it before. Greetings, this is Body-Culinary. So I'm just inviting you very quickly into my live foods kitchen where I'm doing some other things, some chores. But first of all, I just want to share something with you. This is something that's called an ice cream fruit, and I've had it before in Guatemala. This one was much more ripe, and actually the seeds are sprouting on the inside. So the person that gave it to me so that the seeds can sprout. But it has an interesting texture. Oops. It has a very, very interesting texture. So this is the flesh of the fruit, the part that you should eat, which is sweet. It has kind of like tastes a little like vanilla. It's like subtly sweet. I'm trying to think, what is it? It reminds me almost like of a mushy apple, the texture, but it has like a really like a light vanilla kind of taste to it. But anyway, they call it an ice cream fruit. So it's not a whole lot of fruit on the inside. So when you open the pod up, it looks like this. So I'm saving some to share with you guys. And this one is the seed is starting to sprout. So I can actually go and plant these. So I like to plant whatever it is that I'm doing. So that's a little share today for the live foods. So today something I just wanted to share is this thing with just being perfect and things that may be holding us back, not only from upgrading the way that we're eating and consuming, but also the same habits or mentality most likely is affecting us in every area of our lives. So I just came in from dumping the compost, which was super full, right? So I had a nice pretty can before, but now graduated to this because the sun cracked the other one. So I got this recycled and washed, and this is what I'm using. I fill at least one of these a day. Every now and then it could be 1.5. So that goes to show you how much, just a couple of people, how much produce we can really be using. And my sister already went off to the gym and to work with some clients and so on. I would have loved, there's nothing I love more than early morning cardio. However, I have certain systems in place, and if I don't have a system, even though I want to run out and I feel enthusiastic and I want to go run and play, if I don't get certain chores done, then like my whole system falls apart. So for example, usually my routine is I'll get up, make my bed first thing, shower because that refreshes me. So make my bed, shower, empty the compost. I'll sweep out in the front because there are constantly leaves that are falling from the trees, and then I'll take those leftover leaves and put them on top of the compost to put them in another pile so that they'll dry. And then where I am right now, I wash my clothes by hand. Yes, I wash my clothes by hand. It does not make sense to me in the environment that I'm in to get a wash machine, to use a lot more water. Now some folks in the States are like, oh my gosh, get a little laundromat, whatever. But you get to decide, just like with so-called minimalism, what your lifestyle would look like. It makes me think of my grandmother. Also, it's so hot here that I could imagine having a dryer, although some people do. But for me, it would be like a tremendous waste because the sun is so hot here. It can dry your things very quickly. But sometimes you don't feel like doing laundry. Well, I may not feel like doing laundry. And when you're exercising a lot, I can go through like my clothes are like really, really soaked. So it's like a meditation. I'll see that bucket sitting there. Sometimes I may soak it and think I'm coming back to it, and then the mind will resist doing certain things. So that mentality that avoids doing the things that we know are beneficial to our body, to our nutrition, to our lifestyle, they become lifelong habits, and they actually get embedded and ingrained. And quite often I see with clients, and I'm not exempt. There are different levels to it. These habits become a mentality in the brain, or the mind, the habitual mental thinking, right? The brain is the organ, but the mental the mental conditioning wants to maintain the status quo. If we just step back objectively and look at our mental conditioning, we'll usually resist getting up to exercise at a certain time. Sometimes we can spend more time in the bed ruminating and obsessing and thinking about exercise, and we could have gotten the workout done and finished, whether you go to a gym or exercise in your own house. But sometimes just not to have the resistance and do a routine, right? So to have the compost done and the food prep area is nice and clean, where I've washed the Vitamix. I've already made Cerecy, which I did another video about, but I picked fresh Cerecy out of the yard, which is a bitter, and I blend it with water, which is, I think more cost effective right now than wheatgrass where I am. And I also made some juice, made a big batch of juice, which I portioned out, and so my sister has some, and then I have some, and I'm constantly in this hot environment trimming up the fruit and going through to make sure no critters are inside of it and seeing what else I can do with the fruit. Today I decided to make some wraps in case I need to share them at an event in the evening. So this is like a timing thing. And in addition, before I forget, this hair which I rinsed yesterday, I've come to terms with this hard water. So the hard water will leave like a little residue in my hair. So all that to say, I need to wash my hair in the early days so they'll be dry by the afternoon. If I'm going to make wraps, whether I'm putting them in the sun or if I use an air dry, I need to do that early in the day so they can dry. There's a rhythm, and certain things need to be completed by a certain time. Also, where I am, there's a 2-hour difference between here and New York. If I'm dealing with someone in New Orleans or other clients, then I have to be on point with my timing and do things in a routine because there's a 2-hour time difference. So I have to get in my exercise, which is critical to my mood, and also taking care of my health, making sure food is prepped for the day because I prefer my own food to any food that's out in the street. I know it's nice and clean. My laundry, I got to put it out early so that it can dry and I can have workout clothes. So there is a rhythm. There's a rhythm. If we set a rhythm and a routine, which you might have to track or tweak, that works for you, it can really be beneficial because then you don't have to keep making the decision to start over all over again, to make the decision to eat healthy, to make a decision to clean up and do the laundry. If we get a routine, we can use our proclivity or our tendency to work off a habit. We can use it to our advantage. Even the way that we eat and eating late at night. If you know that you like to eat late at night, there are ways that you can use that habit to your advantage. Because quite often being triggered by stress and stress triggering mindless eating and stress triggering mindless activities, whether that's mindless, the desire to seek TV or YouTube to distract ourselves, or the desire to seek shopping or other things. Sometimes it can be beneficial, but sometimes it's just a distraction from doing what we know we need to do for ourselves. And quite often we could lose months and years of progress. That definitely applies to when we're trying to, for example, lose adipose tissue off of our midsection. It's quite easy for us to fall into a habit of eating very mindlessly. And it's a double whammy if we're eating foods that are not nutritionally dense. So yes, if I'm on a rhythm and a routine, it kind of forces me to be more effective in less time to get the laundry done, get the compost done, get all these things done. Then I have the reward. For me, a reward is going to exercise, and I can relax and take my time. Then come back and do the other things that I need to do. Quite often we'll choose the things we want to do and not the things we know we need to do. And it's interesting observing myself and also observing clients. Sometimes the absolute resistance we have to, for example, writing a food journal, which is an accountability, to turning in assignments or doing homework or putting off studying languages and things like that. It's not to beat up on ourselves, but if we can be objective and stand back and look and see what is where are we being triggered? What are the mental habits? If we kept a journal of accountability, how many days out of the month are we binge eating at night, even if it's too much sugar or fruit or avocado instead of resting? How many nights are we going to sleep with the computer on? These are some things just for us to watch in terms of mental conditioning. So all that said, routines and developing and tweaking some habits can really work to your advantage, right? Because most often we're doing a lot of the same things that we did yesterday. And so that skeleton or that framework of making sure that your house is clean and organized and that it's attractive enough for you to want to go and prepare food for yourself. And you feel relaxed when it comes time for you to study or do some kind of pick up a new skill or learn something new. Or if that's just maintaining your beauty and your health and your hair. You know, building a routine can really work to your advantage. And for those folks, especially women, but not just women, that are not in a relationship, while we can pine over and like, oh, woe is me, I'm not in a relationship. We hear it all the time, but there's a disconnect. Your first relationship is with yourself. And if you're not in a relationship with someone, that gives you so much time to focus on yourself. That is so much time to make your juices and really get into enjoying the chores. That is something I love to do. Like if I find my mind dragging, music can automatically catapult me into another mind frame. So I'm big on music and lyrics that is soulful, that is funky, but also the quality of the lyrics. It's definitely a way that I nourish myself. If you're interested in knowing what's on my playlist, because people always ask me what's on my playlist at the gym, because I literally have a party with myself. So if you're interested in knowing what's on my playlist, let me know in the comments below. And I encourage you to find a routine that you have your basic framework of your food preparation and making your space attractive and planning for the unforeseen. You know, if you're going to be stuck out in the street and may not have access to beautiful fresh food and beautiful spill-proof containers. You know, these are all the little nuances and different things that I coach my clients in terms of changing the mindset, having a different paradigm shift. If you have a paradigm shift, then instead of struggling with dieting, you're looking for opportunities and strategies to make yourself feel good, to have yourself experience high energy because you're not being weighed down with lots of undigested meals. And although we could play into the narrative, for many people it doesn't make us a bad person, that we can put on lots of weight as we mature and we age, we don't have to fall into that, we don't have to play into that narrative. You get to play and write the narrative, write a new narrative. For example, if you have a history, which I do in my family, of diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, not really having healthy outlets for stress, I choose to the best of my ability to rewrite the narrative. So if you need some support and if you're interested in working with me and you want some coaching, please hit me up at info@bodyculinary.com. One of the things that I'm focusing on the next coming months is a program for mindless eating. And really, as opposed to just dieting, or rather than just dieting, really dialing into an awareness of how much you're eating, what state of mind you're in when you're eating, the triggers that you're going through when you're eating. And that, in addition to gardening and building a routine, can give you so much tremendous leverage and results. So much leverage, so much being more effective in less time. It's really, really effective. These habits and having a mind shift. It is a different page and a different mentality than dieting. So with that said, let me know if your country, if you've come across this fruit or this fruit grows in your neck of the woods and what you call it, because different Caribbean spots, tropical spots, have different names for the same food. Please share the routine that's worked for you and what has been able to be sustainable over the long haul, right? I'm happy and relieved that I do not have to diet at this point, right? And that's such a relief, you know, to have a big grown son and to know that it's not that you're not going to eventually feel some things in your body and eventually we will all wrinkle and things like that. But if you preserve this body temple, it's another experience. So we run away from responsibility, but a lot of the habits that go with responsibility can actually set you free. So subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up if you receive some value. Please feel free to share this video with someone who you know could use some motivation around embracing their natural beauty, their own hair and skin. You can pick up my books, Whole Living Foods in the Hood, Part 1, with menus to fit your budget. So there's all different types of grocery shops for different budgets and ideas of menus that you can plan with each different shop, as well as Natural Beauty, no products, love your own hair and skin, it's cruelty-free and vegan. And whether you decide to adorn yourself with makeup or not, that's your choice. But it is definitely a lot of freedom from products to know that you can be comfortable in your own hair and skin. And this is coming from somebody that really dealt with a lot of acne, who uses 0 products, just the living foods that I'm putting inside my body temple, which come out through the skin. And I am that woman to put fresh food on my scalp and on my skin. All right, folks, create a great day and see you soon. That's local, and the collard greens that my sister and I have grown in our little humble garden, and the turmeric